All right, welcome everybody to the team call today. Here in the U.S., it's a day before Thanksgiving, so I know a lot of you guys are on holiday at this time, so that's awesome. I just want to go through a few quick announcements, then we'll get right to the important part of this call with our guest speaker, Melissa. But first of all, I just want to go through a couple of announcements and kind of share some things with you guys. So first of all, we have the Black Friday sale, Black Friday Cyber Monday sale that is available. So I'm just going to actually share my screen and show you guys where you can see some of this stuff. So I am using the Share a Cart for most of the transactions that I make with a new customer or a new coach. But I'm going to show you guys the Coach Link generator right here. If you go to the Coach Link generator, just go to Google and search Coach Link generator or Beachbody Coach Link generator, and this is what you find. For example, if I want to send a link to one of my clients, all I do is I'll just put in my wife's number, 111273. I hit enter or submit right here, and I can select a category and it will bounce down. So you guys can see right here that we have the links available for the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, which is from 11/20, which was yesterday, until the 26th. So here's all the items. If you've been like, what's on sale for Black Friday? How do I find this? How do I send a link for it? It's all right here. You can see how to do that. So there's links for Canada, links for the UK, and then links for the US. And the US and Canada are the same link. So I just wanted to show you guys real quickly where you can see and where you can find that. The next thing that I want to mention to you guys and have you guys make sure that is on your radar is we have the next Super Saturday, which is a quarterly event, on January 12th. It's a Saturday, and we have these events all across the US, Canada, and the UK. And it's just a place where we come together. There's a video from corporate. There's some local stories that are shared. And then on top of that, there's a live workout, usually with a certified Insanity trainer or P90X instructor. And sometimes there's super trainers that are there. For example, we were with Chris Downing last time. This time, for example, we're going to travel from Idaho Falls 3 hours south to Salt Lake City because we'll be with Shaun T in Salt Lake City. And that event, for example, you just want to keep your eye on it. Ours is going to be on Friday. So it's usually Saturday. Sometimes they're on Friday. Sometimes they're on Saturday. Sometimes they're on Sunday. The Salt Lake City one is going to be on Friday evening. So we'll be with Shaun T. So get that on your radar to make sure that you are blocking out that weekend so that you can travel to and go to your local Super Saturday event. I also want to make a challenge to you to bring at least 3 guests, 3 customers, clients, friends with you. I'm not talking about your coaches. Your coaches should come with you either way, but I want you to bring 3 friends with you to Super Saturday. One example I saw of that is we had one of our coaches, downline coaches, bring 3 people to the Super Saturday event with Chris Downing, and all 3 of them became coaches within a week after going to that Super Saturday event, when they really got to see what we are as a team Beachbody community. The next announcement I want to make is we have Summit coming up. I say coming up even though it's like 7-8 months away. It's going to be here before we know it. It's going to be July 11th through the 14th. That's a Thursday night is when the opening ceremony is. Ends on Saturday night. Everybody goes home on Sunday. There's going to be 25,000 coaches there. It's by far one of my favorite things each year with Team Beachbody. We want you to be there. If you're serious about building your business, which I assume you are because you're live on the team training call with us today, you should have your Summit ticket purchased. I'm just going to share my screen just to show you what the page looks like, where you can register for the Summit so you can see it. Can you raise your hand if you can see the Summit page? Can you guys see this page right here? Okay. So I basically just went to coachsummit.com, and I clicked on the pricing right here. The 145 ticket flash sale is over. So right now the current ticket price of Summit tickets is $180 until January 6th. After January 6th, starting January 7th, it's going to go up to $195. And if you buy your ticket at the door, it's going to be $295. So take advantage. If you're coming to Summit, take advantage of saving the money and buying your ticket early and making that commitment now. One other thing I want you guys to understand and know about Coach Summit is that if you hit Success Club, when you hit Success Club in your first 3 full months, you get your Summit ticket reimbursed. So let's say I'm talking to Melissa. She's our guest speaker, so obviously she's not a new coach. But let's say I'm talking to Melissa. I get her started. I do her getting started right call. We set our goals. I talk to her about Summit, and she buys her Summit ticket. let's say she does that, it's November, and then she hits Success Club it's your first 3 months. So let's say she hits Success Club in December, January, and February. She could then submit a request to the events team with Beachbody, and they would reimburse her summit ticket because she earned it with hitting Success Club in her first 3 months. So make that commitment. It's an awesome perk and benefit of hitting Success Club in the first 3 months of your business and starting that activity. The next thing I want to share real quick, and I'll get off this screen share here, is that we have the Transform 20 launch. The packages are going to be available December 4th. And we can begin doing the workouts starting on January 14th is going to be the day that we can start. We have a huge opportunity to recruit for and work on building momentum into running a test group with this program. It will start on January 14th. So the cool thing about that is that it doesn't come onto the Beachbody On Demand library for a couple months after that. So there's a ton of Shaun T fans out there that love T25, that love Insanity, that love Insanity the Asylum, that want to do this program. And they're not going to, when they start seeing people talk about Transform 20 and doing this new program with him, they're not going to want to wait until April when it comes onto the Beachbody On Demand library for free. They're going to want to do it early, and they're going to want to start their goals for January and their New Year's resolution. So we have a lot of opportunity right now to start talking about it, recruiting for it, and helping educate people on the Transform 20 program, how to get their packages, and which is going to include either Shakeology or the Performance Line and their step. And we can work on getting that momentum built right now. And the invites, remember that every time you talk to someone, it's a seed planted. And so maybe they're not ready right now because it's Thanksgiving, or they're not going to be ready leading into Christmas. And maybe they don't buy it on December 4th when it goes live. But it's important that you plant the seeds right now, have the conversations right now, because when January 1st comes around, if you're talking to them and they're like, okay, I am going to get fit and healthy this year, you're going to be the person on their mind. But if you don't start talking to them now, they're just going to go to the thing that's on their mind, which might be seeing the advertisement on the gym in their hometown or whatever it is. So the more you speak, the more you talk, the more you invite them personally, the more they're going to remember who they can go to for their health and fitness goals leading into 2019. And that's a great opportunity. It's a great time as well to, on your social media and in private conversations, ask people, hey, do you know who Shaun T is? Have you ever heard of Insanity? And start that conversation flow and understanding who those people are. Maybe they don't, and they're not interested in Shaun T, but maybe they have friends that they know that are Shaun T fanatics, and they can connect you to those people. One of my favorite lines from the GoPro book, or going to GoPro events, is asking someone, who do you know that I should meet? Who do you know that I should know when you're having a conversation with somebody? And that could be when you're inviting to the coach opportunity and it might not be for them, or when you're inviting someone to a Transform 20 group for Insanity and they're like, nah, that's not for me, I'm not into that. But then you can say, like, okay, who do you know that is into that hardcore, intense Shaun T mentality type workout, so you can connect them with me. We as a team, I want you guys to know, it's inside the team page, have a Transform 20 launch group. So that you guys can understand my plan, I have transformation photos going in there already. I'm going to put over the next month, I'll put in videos that Shaun T puts out. I'll just download them and upload them into the group. And I also have a list of, so far, 6 people from our team that were in the Transform 20 test group. I'm going to interview them over the next month inside of that group where they can talk about their experience. So don't worry about selling them, really. Just get them into the group where they can learn and see the transformations. But the powerful thing about getting them into that group that's going to happen is when people start buying their packages and talking about it, we're excited for them, and they're going to see that we're excited for them. And it's basically called social proof. They're going to see other people getting excited about the program, which is going to in turn help them become more excited about the program as well. So Transform 20 group, make sure that you're in there, and then start inviting people into that group as well. Okay, that's the announcement. I'm going to jump right on. Oh, while you guys are here, for those of you that are on live to our team call, I'm going to drop this in case you haven't registered yet. We have our new team training website is up, and I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys that are on live with us. It's basically, you register for it. It has step-by-step processes on how to start your business, how to start a new coach, how you can start your customers, everything from new coach welcome templates, Emerald rank templates, everything that you need. We've put in an organized step-by-step system. So it's been really beneficial to me. Like, I took a staycation last night with my kids. We got back like 30 minutes ago. And I had 2 new customers that I invited like a month and a half ago buy their challenge packs at the discounted $140 price. And so they text me, hey, I bought my package, I'm ready. And I just went to the team training website. I have it as a favorite on my iPhone. I went there and I went and got like my new customer welcome email with a little PDF guide for a new healthier you. Like everything that I've put in there, I just texted it to him real quick. And I was like, I'll get you into the challenge group a little bit later. But normally in the past, like I've had to search my desktop and search everywhere for folders and Google Drives to try to find the things I need to send them. So everything's super organized and kind of step-by-step on what you can do to help people get the best results. So that's the link if you haven't registered for the team website so that you can check it out and start working through it. And you can be confident. One of the things I'm excited about is you can be confident in knowing that you can recruit a coach or a customer to your team and that you know step-by-step how you can help get them started. Okay, well, my breath's about out. It's time for me to announce our guest speaker so we can let her teach us some amazing things. So we have our guest speaker today, Melissa. I don't really know Melissa personally too much, but one thing I want you to know about her and to give you guys some tips and advice is I was on the National Wake Up Call Live. She was on the National Wake Up Call Live. I just loved her mindset and the way that she was engaging with the community and the things that she was sharing in there. And I was like, that's my type of person. I want her to get in here and teach and share some things with our team. So some success leaves clues. So you guys are going to hear from Melissa's story, and she's going to talk about storytelling, and she has some incredible achievements that she's done in her business. But one thing that I want you guys to understand from her is that you have to actively in this business put yourself out there where you can be seen. So if Melissa hadn't have engaged in let's say the Team Beachbody 411 live National Wake Up Call, I wouldn't have found her and given her this opportunity to speak on our call. And the same thing will happen for you guys. If you speak up, if you share, if you're engaging, that gets you noticed and gives you opportunities. So you have to be actively doing that in your business if you want to stand out. So Melissa is a wife and she's also a mom of 3. She claims, which I love, that she has a tenaciously fierce team. And I love that. She's been a coach for 4.5 years. She replaced her income at her full-time job, and she walked away from that job after 15 months of coaching. She hit elite her second year of the business, and she's been elite 2 times with her team. They're on track right now to be elite in 2019, and she's hit Success Club for 46 consecutive months. So she's got some incredible things to share with us. And Melissa, I'm just going to pass the time over to you. I'll unmute you so we don't double unmute here. There you go. It's all yours.
Awesome. I'm going to unmute that one and look at this one because it's technical difficulties, but I'm so excited to be here, you guys. Thank you, Scotty, for giving me this opportunity. It's really a full circle moment, guys, and I'm going to take you guys back and I'm going to share my story before I get into the content of this. Everything Scotty said is true, but I don't want you to think that because I have those accolades that makes me any different than you. I put my pants on the same way you guys do every single day. My kids make a mess. I am a hot mess mom. You can ask my team who's on here. I am normally scrambling at both ends of the wheel. And I'm just like you guys. So 5 years ago, my marriage was in the darkest place it had ever been. And we were really struggling to fight our way out of it. That was one thing that my husband and I decided together was that we weren't going to give up on our marriage no matter what we had faced. And there were just some really heavy things going on. And I started seeing this woman show up on my news feed. And she was super inspiring. She was super motivating. I had no idea who the heck she was. She was all the way in Texas. But her name's Mindy Horde, and that's my coach. She's been a coach for about 7 years now. And I was just inspired by what she was doing. And because of her, I started following my upline, Becky Brose and Christina Delgado. Make some noise for Diesel Nation. I'm sure you guys know who we are. And I just started watching these women who are wives, just like me, who had struggles just like me, who were working full time just like me, who were losing the baby weight that I was wishing that I could, and they were having this positive mindset that I wish I had, except for I was doing something different than them, guys. I was going on social media and I was posting like passive aggressive little memes because I didn't want to talk about the dark stuff I was going through. Or I would go on, 3-day binges of drinking alcohol and post these things about how cool it was to drink drink wine, because we live in this mommy society where that's the norm. Or I would go and I would talk about a cabbage soup diet or Weight Watchers or diet pills. And these ladies were showing up regularly and getting results and positive and taking these trips. And my husband and I couldn't afford to even take a staycation like Scotty was just talking about. So they were doing all the things that I wanted to do. So I watched silently on the sidelines for 13 months before I pulled the trigger and did anything. But what I noticed was that they didn't give up. They weren't stopping and starting over. They weren't letting their fears and doubts get in their way. And so being a sideline watcher for 13 months, guys, I started to believe in myself because they were putting the belief out there that a mom who was crazy just like me, that worked full time, that was running at both ends of the candle, like didn't have time for anything, could have extra time in her day to make this work if I would sacrifice. And so in February 7th, 2014, I took the plunge and I signed up to be a coach. And at the same time, I was making the decision to walk away from my corporate job because it was affecting my family so much. I was working 13 plus hours, driving 3 hours round trip every single day. I had 2 small children who were in daycare 45 plus hours a week while my husband and I worked. Like I said, we were crawling our way out of a really dark part of our marriage, and I needed to fight for my life. So I signed up, I quit that corporate job. I went and worked for a small office where I was going to have about a $20,000 a year pay cut, but I didn't care because I knew I needed that time with my kids, and they were missing out on having a present mom. And so when they told me that they were going to give me like $16.50 an hour, and I was only going to have to drive 25 minutes one way, and I was going to have weekends off and holidays off, like that was a no-brainer for me. And I didn't really know if I had time to build this business or if it was going to work for me, but I knew I had to try. So even though I had reservations and was super, super skeptical, I went ahead and I got engaged in my coach's group, and I started doing everything that she told me to do. I started duplicating everything that I saw Mindy, Becky, and Christy doing for those 13 months as I sat on the sidelines. I honestly really didn't worry too much about what my friends and family were thinking because they had seen me do the diet pills. They had seen my marriage go into spiral. They had seen my blackout drinking. So if they were going to judge me, they probably already had, right? So I just kind of went all in, and people started messaging me saying like, you're so inspiring. I love the message you're sharing. I'm so happy to see like your face is changing. You look so happy. And I was. I joined this opportunity to lose weight, and along the way I gained life. And I could spare you the details of how we've gotten to where we have, but guys, like this opportunity is priceless. And if you have not at this moment leaned in, I encourage you to just take your hands off the wheel and listen to what Scotty's saying. Follow his lead, whether he's your coach or he's your upline, because guess what? He was one of the coaches. He had no idea who I was. He was one of the coaches that I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning and I was typing in YouTube, Scotty Hobbs, because I wanted to see what he was doing, because he was a top coach in our network, right? I respected what he did, and I listened to his story as he talked on these YouTubes with his child in his lap, talking about how he would sleep in his car on his breaks for multiple jobs, and how he was able to quit his job, make enough money so that Gabby could quit her job. That was his goal. And I was like, holy crap. He's a male in a female dominant business making this work. And his family was his why. He was leading with integrity. He was sharing all the freaking tips and tricks out there. All I wanted to do was duplicate it. So on top of the 3 successful people that I was following somebody who had no financial gain from me, who did not even know I existed, going to his YouTube regularly. I remember watching him say, I want to retire my dad early. And then it happened. And I just kept thinking, like, if these things are possible, I can too. So instead of, like, my entire life spending time thinking, like, why me? I shifted my mindset and started saying, why not me? Guys, let me paint this picture for you really quick. I should have started with, I come from a background of abandonment issues. I come from a broken home. I was in and out of living with my dad, to my mom, to my aunt, to foster care, to school teachers. I struggled with addiction from the age of 15 up until I was 21 years old. I dropped out of high school my senior year. Like, on paper, I could have been a failure. But we get one life. You get one opportunity to live this life. And I don't care what you've been through or what season or storm you're facing right now. You get to wake up every freaking single day and say, I'm making a choice to live. I'm making a choice to work this business so that I can pay it forward and not only transform my life, but other people's as well. So stop selling yourself short and start telling your story and turn your mess into a message, because I promise you, your issues are not unique, and there's somebody out there just like you who's facing the same exact thing but doesn't know how to get out of it. And we have this amazing, incredible solution to help them transform their lives. So I do have a couple of notes that I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to take you guys through my presentation on storytelling. I would love any questions at the end. And yeah, so a couple of tips, guys, before we get in. If you are wondering, like, how am I going to make it through this holiday season with running this business, raising my kids, lack of money, full-time job, going to school, whatever your season of life is, I tell you, do not pull back from your team. Every hard thing I've faced over the past 4.5 years, I have leaned in and my business has grown. I have not had to face anything by myself. Nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. And I swear, I tell people all the time, I worked so hard on my mindset with personal development that no matter what I face, like, I know God has me, but I know that my mindset is in the right place, that I can face whatever it is. And I'll never be alone. In my entire life, I've had amazing friends. But I've never had a family and a tribe like Beachbody. People who are on the same mission, working towards the same things, who have the same desires as I do, or similar, right? All of our goals aren't going to be the same. Not everybody wants to leave their job. Some of you may want to be at your corporate career forever, and that's amazing. Good for you. I just knew I had to get home to my kids because I was sick and tired of sending them to daycare sick. I was sick and tired of dropping them off, praying that I would get a phone call that they had a fever so I could explain to my boss, because I felt a heavy burden weighing on me. I was sick and tired of having to ask permission to be present for holiday parties, or stressing what I was going to do on Thanksgiving break. I live in Northern California, where we have those fires going on right now. My kids were just out of school unexpectedly for an entire week. We didn't know when they were going to go to school. Every morning we had to wait for a message from the school asking or letting us know whether there was school or not before they finally canceled it for the rest of the week. I know what that would have felt like if I was still working for someone else. And this business has given me the freedom. And I had people on my team who were like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, build your business. It will give you the freaking freedom of time. I promise you. So engage into your team. Go to live events. Get to Summit. If your coach is hosting something, make the trip. My first Super Saturday, I drove 2.5 hours to Sacramento because there wasn't one closest to me. Now I host them for almost 3 years straight. You have to create those opportunities for yourself. I would say also go to other live events of personal development. I've been to Tony Robbins. I have been to EntreLeadership Summit with Dame Ramsey, Rachel Hollis, like any type of live events, guys, you can get to those. And bring your team with you. Let's see. I just wanted to see if there's anything else for the engagement piece. I know how hard it is to try and do all the things. But if it's important to you, you'll find a way. And if it's not, you will always have an excuse. I can promise you that, guys. But when you drop all of those and you really lean in and you allow this business to take you to the place that you desire, and you start manifesting on that, and you start focusing on your true vision, I promise you, your life will start to evolve. And it may not happen overnight, because I can promise you it didn't happen overnight for me. And we failed over the last 4 years. I can't tell you how many times that we've lost rank advancements. I can't tell you how many times we were this close to something and it fell through. Last year, we were 10 points shy of elite. Corporate gave us an opportunity to get that extra 10 points. I didn't take it. I was in a funk. I was in a cloud. I still showed up for my team every day, but we missed it. It was a really challenging year. But this year, I just talked to my team about this last night. Our culture is so strong, and we may have lost some people that went and did other things, but we are in such an amazing place. I can't wait to get together with my team on a Zoom call and celebrate that we're a 3-time elite team. So I'm going to take you through what I would consider to be, 2 seconds. Tyler. Mom life. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys through what I would consider a good way to share your story, because I truly feel like storytelling is what built my business. Yes, we have products that sell, but honestly, guys, I do not think that I am pitching a sale to any of my friends. I do not feel like I am trying to cram anyone down their throat. I don't feel like I'm in a direct sales company. I'm in a community that helps people transform their lives and get healthy from the inside out. And along the way, they can live their wildest freaking dreams. So bear with me, because I'm going to do a screen share. Let me see. There it is. Okay, share screen. Have you found any more? Okay, can you guys see my screen? Awesome. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we are going to talk about how to share your story authentically. Guys, you want to be 100% authentic, because if you're not, people are going to be able to read through that. So my first thing is you want to embrace your mess. Don't be afraid to share the messy parts of your life. I just shared with you guys that I faced addiction my entire life. My family went through the hardest part of my marriage back in 2013. I'm a high school dropout. I share all of those things. I openly talk about the things that are, I guess, taboo, and people want to cover up and they don't want to talk about. We live in a society where people think that you have to have the perfect angle and the perfect Instagram and the perfect filter and all of those things to be quote unquote perfect. Guess what? I've shared my story openly, and I'm not perfect. My audience and my clients have seen me get sober. I've been sober for 27 months as of this week. And I share the good days, the bad days, the hard days, the uncomfortable days, the celebration days. I don't just share my highlight reels, okay? So don't be afraid to share your mess. And that doesn't mean you have to go and air all your dirty laundry, but just share the things that make you normal. Share the things about the craziness in your life, the messy parts, the things that you face that you didn't think you could get through. I promise you that's going to connect more with people than you kissing your shaker cup. So why is your story so important? Well, like I just told you, you become relatable. People are going to say, oh my gosh, me too. I've been there, and that's your opportunity to say, sister, brother, I have been there. Let me help you take that load off, because this is what I've done. It helps you build relationships to connect with people. I told you, I connected to Scotty's story. He was working full time. Gabby was working full time. They didn't know me, but I trusted what he was saying. I didn't know Mindy, my coach, who was a stranger. For 13 months, I followed her. But I felt so connected to her, so that by the time I signed up with her, we got on the phone the first time, I already knew all about her family. I watched her child grow up. She just moved to Fort Bragg, California, so now we're only 2.5 hours apart from each other. I just got to go visit her on Saturday when my kids have a championship football game. She's one of my best friends because of this opportunity. So build relationships with the people in your audience, and I promise you, they will feel so connected to you if they understand where you came from. It's going to create connection. Connection is the key to relationships, and relationships build your following. The more followers you get, the more clients you're going to attract. Okay? We don't want to just get people, we want to help them, and but you have to go out and build those relationships. I would say 85% of my team I met because of this business on social media. I wouldn't have known them without this opportunity. And just like Mindy, some of them are my best friends. We talk on the phone daily, we text, we know what's going on in each other's lives. I have clients who I've never met before that I bump into shopping in Santa Rosa. I have people, my husband called me this morning, he's off work unexpectedly because we have a big rainstorm here, and he's like, I just ran into some lady at Target. She was like, oh, you're Melissa's wife, or you're Melissa's husband. And they're like, I recognize you from Facebook. Like, they know our story. They've watched me be pregnant. They've seen my boys grow up. I had people texting me on Sunday asking me about my boys' championship game because I share all of those things. So what makes you you? As you start trying to figure out what your story is, guys, I want you to make a list that describes you. This could be a list of 10 to 20 things. This could be the things that you like, the things that you dislike, the events that have happened in your life, maybe the events that you went to. Do you know how many people, I have a coach, Leah, that's on the call. She has so many newfound friendships because she went to Tony Robbins a year after I did, and now she has this community of people she's met there, right? Talk about those things. When you're searching hashtags, maybe you're gonna go to Tony Robbins in LA. He's coming in March. I'm a big advocate. If you search Tony Robbins UPW, you could find people just like you. Rachel Hollis, she's like it right now, right? If you search her hashtag made for more, you can find people. I'm searching people in sober communities, right? So you can use those things. What are your hobbies? This is one that I think trips people up so much, especially parents. You're like, I hang out with my kids. There's other things that you desire to do. So what is it? I saw Scotty just went skydiving. My husband and I just did that in September. Most thrilling experience in my entire life, also very terrifying. But guess what? I found new connections with people who have also skydived, right? And they're telling me other places to go. I used to love scrapbooking. Since I had my oldest son, that has really fallen to the wayside. But I still enjoy talking about it, maybe one day getting back into it. Maybe you enjoy knitting. Maybe you like CrossFit on occasion. Maybe you like running clubs. Those all make you you. Talk about the different seasons of your life. Right now, I'm very heavy in talking about my faith. Because I am a newer Christian, I've really just let God, allowed him to start working in my life over the past year and a half. So I talk about where I was without God. I talk about who I was in my addiction. I talk about who I was as a new mom who was struggling to lose the 62 pounds that I had gained. Talk about the different seasons of your life. Maybe you faced divorce. Maybe you lost a parent. Maybe you have never had children. So think about the different seasons of your life. Make a list of those, guys, because that's going to help people connect when you're sharing your story. So how are you going to share this? Well, you're going to start by sharing the background. I went to an amazing event in San Francisco, GoPro. Eric Worre, he's one of the best network marketing trainers out there. If you have not read his book, I highly recommend it. If you can get to one of his live events, I recommend that as well. But one of the things that I learned from him was you have to become a storyteller and connecting with your people. And this is similar to the model that he shares. So number one, what was life like before you found the solution that you did? So I told you guys before Beachbody, I was lost. My marriage was in the dumps. I was struggling to lose weight. I was constantly on that hamster wheel of trying quick fixes. I was desperate for time. I was overworked. That's where I start, right? What are the things that keep you up at night? Are there bills you can't pay? Are there trips that you wish you could go on? Do you know how your kids are going to get braces? Do you have an upcoming doctor's appointment? Are your parents facing medical issues and you want to be there for them? Because I know all of those things, guys, have kept me up at night. Talk about the things that you hate about that. I can tell you I hated dropping my kids off at school or at daycare. I hated it. I didn't know what was going on. I was driving an hour and a half away. What if they got hurt? What if they had an accident at school and needed me to come? I would be an hour and a half away. I hated that. I hated having to inconvenience my employer if my kids were sick. It literally made me physically ill. Probably stressed myself out way more than I should have, but those were the things as a mom that I felt like I needed to be there for, and I had to figure out how to get home to do that. What emotions did you experience? Guys, when you can help people understand the emotional reaction, that's where you're going to connect to them. I know that there's people out there who are struggling to fit into clothes, who are so desperate and in such a dark place like you've been before. Go out and talk about that. Talk about the things that are going freaking awesome in your life. Talk about what is going well and how you never thought that you would be in this state. I never thought I would be home with my kids. Without Beachbody, I would for sure be back working for someone else. And all last week, I would have been so stressed out about how I was going to figure out my kids, because we don't have a big supportive family here. We don't. And my friends, most of them work. So to put that heavy burden on somebody else, that was stressful to me, okay? What solution did you found? Well, I found Beachbody. Like I told you in the beginning, I started this journey to lose weight, and along the way, I gained life. There is not one piece of my life that you could look at and say, it hasn't impacted me. And when people tell me like, oh my gosh, I just can't make it my whole life. Well, I feel sorry for you. You really should. Because this is not a bad thing. This is a solution to your marriage issues. This is a solution to your health issues. This is a solution to your financial issues. This is a solution to your time issues. Like, we come from all different walks of life. And I honestly know that God placed this in my path because he knew I was made for something bigger than what I was doing with myself. And it's helped me transform from being a victim to a victor. So if you are still sitting back waiting for somebody to come rescue you and to be the hero of your life, I promise you, my friend, that's not going to happen, and you need to step up and start playing. Because life is too freaking short for you to sit back and wait, because the time's going to pass anyway. So why not join in, lean in, and be a part of a community that is going to lift you up? And hopefully you can help a whole bunch of people along the way. And because you do that, it's going to transform your life. So how does that make you feel about the future? I'm freaking excited. I see a vision that is so clear when I did not used to have a vision. I didn't know what I wanted for my life. I was so comfortable with sitting on that hamster wheel because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. I didn't believe in myself. I dropped out of high school. Yes, I went back to school and got my GED. But I wasn't really pushing for anything more. I was climbing the corporate ladder that was killing me. It was killing me physically. I was drinking excessively. I was exhausted. I was living off of Red Bulls and candy bars, like so overwhelmed with stress. So now that I have the ability to say, hey, next month I just booked a hotel for Tahoe and we're going to go spend 3 days with my childhood friends, like, that's awesome. My husband and I are going to go on a cruise for our 5th paid vacation for the company that I work for. That's awesome. I don't have to worry about the consultation of getting my son braces because I have this amazing income that I've built from my phone in pockets of my time. That's awesome. So talk about those things, guys. Maybe you're like, I haven't got there yet. I don't have that story to share. Talk about it like it's already happened, because that's what I did in the beginning. I saw what my coach did, and I just wanted to do that. I wanted to duplicate it. Okay, storytelling best practices. Don't share everything at once. Leave breadcrumbs. That's why I love stories on Instagram right now. You can literally breadcrumb all day long. But leave people wanting more. I just hosted a private event a couple weeks ago, and I had a woman come up to me and she said, you know, I've been following you for 2 years, and I'll just be honest, like, you always leave me wanting more. I always want to know what's going on with your kids. I always want to know what your daughter's doing. I always want to know what event you're doing with your company. Like, I love what you're reading. I just keep watching because I know it's going to be something new every time. Tell your story over and over and over, because repetition builds skills. It's going to be super uncomfortable the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times you tell your story. But the more that you tell it, the more confident and comfortable you are going to be able to share it. And you'll notice that more of your story will come out each time, that you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that, right? And you're going to get better at telling your story. It's going to flow a lot better. Do you know how many times I've done this call right here? Like 4. And I feel way more confident doing this than I did on the first one. Next thing is stay consistency. Consistency builds a loyal following. I think I already touched on this, guys, but there has not been a day that I've taken off. Yes, I've stepped away and had family time dedicated, but I still show up for my team. I show up for my challengers. It doesn't matter if there's fires, if there's storms, if there's a death, like if my kids are having issues, like I'm here. And that does not mean that my phone is constantly connected to me. That just means that every single day that I love my business and I show up and I am engaging with people. There might be a Sunday where I'm off my phone or my computer for 10 hours because we're off doing something, but I still show up. People know what I'm doing. If you are somebody who's constantly like, oh, I fell off the wagon again, I'm so depressed, I can't get off the cycle, oh, I'm self-sabotaging. Guys, I promise you, people don't want to follow that. Yes, it's relatable, but how relatable and trustworthy are you going to be if you're always starting over? You have to be consistent in your health, in your fitness, in your mindset, in growing this business, in everything that you do, building that consistency. We're having like crazy stuff falling in the house over here. Real life, guys. Okay. So your story matters, guys. There's somebody out there who needs to hear because they've been where you are. And once they hear your story, they're going to have the courage to move forward. Don't keep other people's destinies trapped in your mouth, because I promise you, there's somebody who's watching silently, maybe for 13 months, like I was with Mindy and Christina and Becky, that need to know that this opportunity exists because they don't even realize that. That's your gift that you have to share with the world. So I hope that this helps you in some way to go out and fearlessly share your story authentically and speak your truth and touch people's lives and make an impact in the way that it has mine. And I just, again, have to thank Scotty for being so open and vulnerable with sharing so much on social media 4 years ago, because he didn't realize the impact he had on a stranger who was a mom who was sick and tired of sending her kids to daycare. And because he was brave enough to share his story, today I've been home for 3 years with my kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Melissa, for making me tear up right before I was the call out. We appreciate you sharing from your heart today and sharing that message with us today. I absolutely love what we get to do as coaches. And everything I loved about this call, from your story in the beginning, everything you've been through, sharing authentically your life and your story, and then teaching us how to share our story as well. It just really stood out at the end, like we have opportunity to help change someone's life, like give somebody like this opportunity to, like a gift is what you said, versus going out and getting somebody, right? Because if you think about that, no one wants to, it's not good grammar, I know that, but no one wants to get got, no one wants someone to come out and get them. When we sense or feel that, we run, and it's the absolute last thing we want. So if you can just change your mindset, like Melissa's talking about we have a gift and an opportunity to give to somebody. And it's not to give this opportunity to build $1 million business or even a $100,000 a year business. Yes, we know that's possible because we've seen and know people that have done that. But I think about even the small staycation that we had the opportunity to do last night that Melissa mentioned. You know, it was like $220 plus going out to eat last night was like $28. And we have the opportunity. That's not something I could do 7.5 years ago. But now we can give someone the opportunity to go out and sell 5 challenge packs, and they get to help somebody transform their life. And then they can take that money that they earned from selling 5 challenge packs and go give their family an incredible staycation without the travel with the 4 or 5 kids, without the 3-hour travel or the airplane flight, and have an amazing experience. So Melissa, we are super grateful for everything that you shared with us today. And this call is recorded for those that couldn't be on live. I know you guys know someone in your life right now, whether it's one of your challengers or it's a coach on your team or a future coach on your team that could really benefit from watching this call. So share it with them. And we are hoping that you guys have an incredible and happy Thanksgiving this weekend. And we'll see you guys next week on the team call. And once again, Melissa, we want to say thank you for sharing so openly with us today. And it's awesome to see you living your dream. And like, I'm cheering for your team that you guys are going to finish this year strong and hit elite. I know it's possible for you guys. And once again, we'll see you guys later. Bye.